Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Monday, January 3rd, 2022. We've had a couple of good weeks of storms across the Great Basin. Here we're looking at the observed precipitation on the left and percent of normal on the right. Above average precipitation was observed for much of the Great Basin. There were a few dry pockets out there, especially over the east central Idaho mountains and across far northwest Utah, but a pretty good storm track in place over the past few weeks. Looking at snow over the past 3 days here, we'd had an exiting storm leaving some snow over the central and eastern Utah, particularly over the higher elevations. And our snowpack right now is sitting pretty good, especially over portions of Utah and Nevada. Western Nevada up over 200% of normal, and Utah pretty high as well. Some lower values over the central Idaho mountains and western Wyoming. This morning's satellite imagery is showing a large low pressure system off the Canadian coast here that will bring another pretty good precipitation or series of precipitation events this week, especially to Idaho and further south into northern Nevada and Utah. So let's take a closer look here. For today, not expecting too much as that low sits further off to the north and west. Temperatures will be warming through the week as well, back up above freezing, so we should see some lower elevation rain with the storms this week. Ventilation rates are poor today. Wind speeds are generally mild or low in Utah and Nevada, but some gustier winds over the central Idaho mountains and over far western Nevada. Mixing heights are also increasing over the north and west and decreasing or lower over Utah and southern Nevada. On Tuesday, we'll begin to see that deeper moisture moving into the Great Basin. Ventilation rates still stay low, but we'll see our temperatures begin to increase and precipitation increasing on Tuesday. Wind speeds pick up a little bit over northern and central Nevada and on the lee side of the Wasatch Mountains there in eastern Utah and in eastern Nevada, eastern Idaho and western Wyoming as well. The mixing heights do increase somewhat across the central portions of the Great Basin as that leading edge of that low moves through. On Wednesday, moisture continues. We'll see precipitation increasing on Wednesday as the flow becomes a little bit more northwesterly. Ventilation rates still aren't great across the area. Wind speeds do pick up a bit on Wednesday, though, especially over the higher elevations of central and eastern Utah, with mixing heights, kind of a mixed bag, not terribly high anywhere across the basin, but a little bit better over eastern Utah. The clearing index forecast for the next couple of days shown here is showing pretty poor values today. We see them increase a bit over northern and northeast Utah tomorrow and Wednesday as those wind speeds pick up in those areas. The 3-day precip totals show that deeper moisture coming into the west central Idaho mountains and then bringing some heavier precip also to the northern Utah mountains and western Wyoming. On Thursday, we get a little bit of a break as a ridge builds in temporarily. Winds will be lighter across the area, and so our ventilation rates will probably be pretty poor once again. And on Friday, another low pressure system coming in from the Pacific Northwest begins to move into the northern parts of the Great Basin. Wind speeds don't pick up too much at the surface, maybe just a bit there. But we'll begin to see precipitation returning once again, especially to the north and west. And that front quickly moves through by later in the day Saturday. So between Friday and Saturday, precipitation should move through much of the Great Basin, as we can see that low really plunges further south. With some cooler air, not as cold as we've seen recently, but definitely a little bit cooler. And the winds are also on the lighter side by Saturday afternoon. On Sunday, ridge builds in for decreasing storminess region-wide and continued light winds. The precipitation accumulations for days 4 and 5 are shown here. So pretty good event for the north. In fact, much of Idaho will see storminess each day this week. And then on in that Tuesday through Thursday period in Utah, and then once again in that Friday to Saturday period. Southern Utah and southern Nevada will stay on the dry side generally through this week, but they may see something move in for the weekend. The extended forecast puts temperatures near normal across much of the Great Basin, but below normal precipitation is expected as we move into the middle of January, so it's possible that we could see our storm track slowing down and putting us into a little bit of a drier spell. This concludes today's smoke dispersion briefing. Please check back on Thursday for the latest updates.